Welcome to Stories of Essex Limited. I'm Jill Willis and I'm joined once again by Doug Bentley from Grant Thornton and Adam Jones from Birketts. Today we're joined by Darren Locker, Managing Director of BEW Electrical Distributors. From a family business founded in 1983 to one of the fastest growing independents in the sector, BEW now operates 22 branches nationwide. Under Darren's leadership, it's climbed from 55 in the Essex Limited Top 100 in 2023 to 41 in 2025. And he's also led a landmark MBO in 2023, having doubled turnover in the 7-year period to 22. Darren, welcome.
Doug, Adam, Jill.
It's really good to have you here, Darren. So I wondered if we could start from the top. So Phil and your dad, Ron, started the business in 1983.
Yep.
But for our audience, can you just bring us up to date? What does BEW do today? What's its focus?
Today, we're traditional electrical wholesalers, which we have been since 1983. And just a little bit of history on Ron and Phil. They set up the business after working for another wholesaler and decided to go out on their own then. It started as a corner shop and just grew and grew. Now, I don't know if many people know, but the BEW stands for Balham Electrical Wholesalers, because the original shop was in Balham. But as we got more and more branches and different places, it was you couldn't have somewhere in Ilford called Balham Electrical Wholesalers, so it got hyphenated or shortened to BEW, and that's where we've gone on from since then. And
who do you serve? What's kind of the big challenge that most of your customers are facing? Why do they come to you?
We predominantly serve small to medium-sized electrical contractors. That would mainly be in London is our biggest port, but we do a lot of work in all over the country. They do office fit outs, new house building, social housing, schools, the whole range, hotels. We've just done the Dorchester Hotel, we supplied that, Tesco, supermarkets. So it's a wide range that our customers use.
Yeah, so sort of diving straight into the growth story, in 2023 you secured an 8-figure funding package from Shawbrook to fund an MBO. Can you just talk us through the background to that, the desires and the ambition associated with it?
Yeah, the MBO came about, the process started in 2022, where Ron and Phil were looking to retire. They looked at other options of a third-party buy, but we all decided amongst us, because it's got to work for all parties. It's got to work for us. It's got to work for them. Everyone's got to be happy. Otherwise, the deal wouldn't go through. We come to an agreement. We went out for funding, and we chose Shawbrook, who we found was the best option for all of us. We found it to be very good. They were very innovative in the way they wanted to do the funding, which we were happy with. So we went with them. And then the deal went through in 2023, July 23. It took a lot longer than I thought it would take, just because of the legalities, the way some things had to be unwound and then reissued for when it became myself and the other directors, because we still retained 3 directors from the initial part that was there.
Shawbrook's obviously another business that appears in the Essex Top 100.
Yeah.
Was there a particular desire for them to want sort of to look after kind of another business on patch, or did they have a bigger picture view of?
No, it was. I didn't realise they were Essex based till after we done the deal. It was we dealt with their city finances in London. So
just moving on to a little bit more of the strategic thinking, Darren. Was there a moment when you kind of knew you wanted to back your own vision?
Yeah. I think when I became MD around 2014, I hope to think I got there on not nepotism, but for what I could do for the job. And I think that was proven in the next 10 years, where we grew the business quite significantly. And it got to the stage where the vendors were getting older. They wanted to see a succession, and I think I was the best option for them at the time. And it was definitely the best option for me, because I wanted to see if I could do it on my own without the safety net of these guys that I'd always had since I've been working there since 1988.
So was that your main motivation behind it, to prove
Yeah.
that you could do it?
Yeah, to see if I could do it, because I'd grown the team underneath me, so I knew I had the backing to make that step up without the original vendors there. But I knew the team be below me was good enough to take that step up as well, and it was the right timing as well. And I was 50 years old at the time, and I had a lot of experience, and the team were hungry, a bit younger than me, and they were hungry to grow the business, and we've carried on doing that over the last 5-6 years, and it's gone on from strength to strength.
Once you'd done the MBO and acquired the business, was there any particular innovation or particular new differentiations you were looking to try and bring into the business?
Not really. No, there wasn't anything different because it was running under myself predominantly, quite successfully. You know, I knew things would have to change and I'd have to step up, but there was nothing fundamentally other than, rather than just keep to the core business of wholesaling, we have to move with the times, and things change all the time. So we set up three divisions. We do solar PV, which is, you've got to be in the marketplace to do that. So we're quite heavy into that at the moment. We've got a lift division, and then we've got the one we've just starting to grow at the moment. It's in its infancy stage, is the air source heat pumps, which is all over the press at the moment because of the gas cylinders. Gas goes, I think, 2028, I'm not sure exactly. And we're finding that's good. But then the most successful one we've had is site temp lighting, which is when you have a building, you probably won't see it, but when it starts and it has the scaffold around it, it's got that yellow stuff there. And we didn't realise what a big marketplace that could be for us. And it's very successful, and we've got a good team running that. So yeah, we do have to look at different angles because our core products will be diminishing with the likes of Screwfix, with the internet. And we've never been a company to go down the internet route because it was always a race to the bottom. You could be selling something for £10, you sell 100 of them, and the next day someone will do them for £9.99 and your sales would drop. So we've never gone down that route. We've got a presence there, but it's not something we've looked into.
So I suppose that adaptability and the innovation around the different models, that's no doubt helped drive that doubling of turnover since you took the MD seat. Are there any specific, I suppose, strategic decisions that you've made that you really think got you motoring?
I think the fact I had 2 or 3 good guys coming underneath me who had a wealth of knowledge and were looking to have the same growth and ideas that I have, and we never pick a location, a geographical location. We go where the team is. If we hear there's a team, we just opened a branch in Ashford, and we heard that team was really good, but we didn't approach them. They approached us and said, look, do you want to, would you be interested in setting up in Ashford? Now, we'd never thought of Ashford before, but we go where it suits we go with the people rather than the place. And we found good success on the back of doing that. And we're only small relatively in the electrical wholesaling world. We're probably like 10% of it, if that. So there's plenty of room for growth for us in quite a large market. I think construction is 3 billion plus, isn't it? Maybe more than that. So, sorry.
So the people that are that you're identifying for growth, are they the ones that are leading the charge with the diversification areas? So the focus on air source heat pumps, etc.
Yeah. The solar PV market was definitely driven by some of the guys that had joined us and had a little bit of experience with it, and we chose to invest with that. There's a lot of areas that we can do because we've physically got the space in our warehouses to do that. So you have to diversify or you stand still. And we found a lot of our competitors have not gone down that route, and it's probably affecting them. It is a competitive market. Construction is predominantly a very erratic market. It's obviously government internationally led. If there's a problem, if there's a shipping tanker stuck somewhere, that affects us. If there's a crisis, financial crisis, it affects every business, obviously. But construction seems to get hit quite hard with that. The biggest thing we have to look at in construction is although we're electrical wholesalers, we're predominantly a bank as well, because we're giving out credit to these contractors, and we've got to ensure we've got the correct insurances in place, got a good credit control facility, which we have to do. And that's so critical to our business because there's so many opportunities you can take, and that you could take a wrong turn very easily. You have to be very, very careful of what companies you decide to deal with and don't deal with. But we've dealt with some companies for the best part of 30 years, some that are new, and they're good clients.
And that sort of I guess, almost customer relationship management piece. Is that kind of a key differentiator for you? You talk about the market being crowded and competitive.
Yeah.
Is that something that really you think really sets you apart?
Yeah, I mean, I've just implemented a new finance team, highly qualified finance team, and they're looking into us. Not looking into us. Sorry, they're understanding our business now, and they've said they didn't realise how much of a face-to-face people style business it is. It's still the old adage: people deal with people. Electricians as a whole, they don't want to use the internet to place their orders. They still need that comfort of a telesales guy or someone that they can place that order with, and that problem's gone, it's off their desk, and they know that's going to get looked after. So while we're always careful and keep an eye out on what the internet and new innovation does, we feel that people dealing with people is still a massive part of our success, which feels good.
And how are you embedding that as new team members come through? How are you defining that culture of that people first culture, that customer care culture, and how are you embedding it and training it into new team members?
Obviously, because it comes from a family business, we want to keep that family business feel. However, as we've grown, we do more training for the guys that come in, how they price it, how they talk to people. Obviously, we've got more what's the word, certification they have to go through.
You also offer training as a service, don't you? Is that you also offer training as a service?
Yeah.
And
we're really heavily into apprenticeship schemes at the moment. We've had quite a lot of success with apprentices coming through in the last 3 or 4 years because there's it's called a EDA. And you get, I think it's a BTEC or CTEC that they get out of it. So rather than back in the day when I was there, you were just thrown in a warehouse, you were picking, packing, forklift driving. These guys now and girls now get a chance to have a certification when they come out of it, and we're finding that's really, really empowering to the new people coming through. So they're not just thrown in and right, you're the dog's body for the day. They're in there now and they're learning, and they're having to learn because they're getting evaluators come down and see them all the time. So yeah, that's been really good for us.
And have there been skills shortages in your area of recruitment, and has the apprenticeship scheme really helped with that?
It has. I mean, we find the skills shortages is heavy in London because it's been, is gentrified the right word? The council houses and the young workers that we used to have from London now are not there as much. I think probably doctors and nurses and firemen have the same issue. It's hard. It's expensive to live in these areas now, so we do. It is harder in London, but for the rest of the part, no, it's not too bad. We've had a few guys come in knowing that they're only going to be with us for 2 or 3 years, so they do the EDA apprenticeship and then they go on to train to be electrical contractors, so they get a better understanding of both sides of the fence. And we find that works because a couple of years later, hopefully they remember us and then they come and buy their products again.
One of the common themes that we've heard within the report itself, I think Spencer mentioned it, was sort of, talent and retention and, investment in people, longevity. So, I mean, it sounds like, you embracing that is really helping you, not just, I guess, business today, but actually from a customer perspective moving forwards as well. Yeah,
I'm not sure the exact percentage. I did ask the question earlier, but it didn't come back to me. But I think our retention rate is over 90% of staff, which I think is quite high in general. But we do predominantly my number one job is to ensure all my staff are happy and paid on time, and and that's where I think the culture comes through a bit, saying, look, I do care about the staff. I've been a staff member for 30 years, so I know what it means to be valued from above. So we all try and do that within the business.
There's been a lot of success in everything you've just talked about. If we could focus a little bit on maybe some challenges. You talked about buying the business and growing it and innovating.
Yeah.
Have there been any particular moments of leadership challenge that have been really quite tricky, and how do you think you've dealt with that?
One of the biggest issues we had years ago is when we done an M&A. We don't do many M&As, but we done one, and that was problematic. Fitting that into our own business, that took quite a long time to do. So we've gone away from that as such. I think it challenged us, not scared us isn't the right word, but we went, no, let's just carry on the way we like to do it, where you're getting in a new team, you're getting them fresh, they've not historically had that culture where they've been in the business for 20 years.
So the motivation for the M&A was to gain turnover quickly,
Yeah.
but the integration was tricky.
Yeah, but only at a high level. The whole team there were brilliant, but it was at a high level we found that was really problematic. And so we wouldn't be doing that again. But what we found, we get opportunities given to us or come to us quite regularly now, because I think a lot of guys similar to Ron and Phil set up in the early 80s, 90s, and they haven't really got a succession plan. They've got a nice business they're sitting on, but they don't know how and where and why to do it. So there's a few of them that are coming around at the moment. So we might be look to do that again if we know it's the right decision and not as big as the one we've done before.
Right, so you potentially would look at M&A.
Oh, definitely M&A. Yeah, the new CFO that we've got in has done plenty of M&As before as well. I mean, we have got a growth target over the next 5 years, and part of that would be M&A, because we can't just keep naturally growing organically. So M&A would come into play at some stage, I would have thought.
As part of an overall strategy.
Yeah, as an overall, yeah, but it's not anything on the radar as such. There's a couple of things that are bubbling away. We've just opened Ashford and we're just opening up Eastleigh at the moment.
And you mentioned that kind of cultural integration has been tricky in the past.
Yeah.
If that's the direction of travel, have you got some ideas, some learnings from history that you're going to take forward to make that a little smoother?
Yeah, I'll get other people to do it. Yeah. I mean, if I say every day is a school day, we're always learning about what works, what doesn't work, and we learn from our mistakes from doing that. Yeah, as I say, culturally, we just want to keep that family feel. Although we've got bigger, and people might think, oh, we're losing the family feel, but we have a very flat organisation chart, so anyone can contact me at any time, or any of my fellow directors. They're always in contact. That we're there at an end of a phone or at an end of an email, and we can speak to anyone. I still feel it's got a family feel to it, but others may not. But I like going round to the branches and seeing where these guys are doing the work at the coalface all over the country. So I like getting out and going to see them, and that's the part of my job I enjoy, to ensure that they're all happy. Really is probably the best word for me. I want to make sure I've got a happy team. If I haven't got a happy team, it's not going to be productive. And yeah, we do have problems at certain times, and I'm sure everyone does in every business. But we try to nip them in the bud as best we can, and yeah, just move on and learn from any mistakes that we made.
One of the things we noticed on the community side of stuff round in Essex is that you sponsor both Chelmsford City Football Club,
yeah,
and Billericay Town Football Club,
and Brentwood now.
Okay, and Brentwood
and Springfield.
Now. Okay, so
I'm a sucker for a football team.
The question was, how do you reconcile those affiliations?
Well, all the chairmans moan at me because they say I'm going here and everywhere. But no, I just like to support anything in the local community. Anything good for predominantly Chelmsford, because I'm Chelmsford based. But we do Brentwood. We try and sponsor football kits for some of our customers' children, because it gets your name out there as well. You know, it goes on social media, and it's for not a lot of giving out. I think you get a lot back from the people that you do it for. Obviously, I'm big into football, so it leans towards the football side. But yeah, we like to do loads of things for the community if we possibly can.
So looking back to 2015, is there any advice that you'd give yourself as you took that MD seat?
Understand finance better. I would highly recommend that for anyone listening. Understand that I feel like I've got strengths and weaknesses, and I'd say my weakness on that side was understanding how the finance worked. I've got a lot better understanding of it now in the last 2 years since the MBO came in, but back then I would have liked to have understood that in a lot more depth. I was more sales orientated, and when the MBO came in, I didn't realise how little I knew. I only knew the real basics, and I found that finance is key to your business, your balance sheets, your cash flows. All that stuff is so important to understand how it's going on and understanding your business as a whole.
I guess it's like all things, though, isn't it? You've got certain skill sets as an individual, and you surround yourself with good people. Yes, exactly. That are pointed in that direction, don't you?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, HR, IT. You just got to get all your teams in place, and we find that it's a big part of your success is getting the good people in. But also, someone told me this years ago, you never get anywhere without having good people underneath you. And I would have never got where I did. Every job I had, whether it was in sales or key account manager or wherever it was, I had to make sure the guy coming in underneath me was as good as me. I know I'm saying I was good. He's probably better than me, the bloke underneath me. But it gave me a chance to move up the ladder. And I think that's a real key point to have. Without good people underneath you, you're building it on sand, and you can't succeed. So I always think, and that's always given me the idea to go, well, I wouldn't have got here without these guys, so I'm going to keep looking after these guys. And then they should hopefully be doing the same. And then when I move on at some stage, they're ready to go again with their team underneath them. You know, it's all about building the team, building the strength, and then you'll get the success you want and crave.
Yeah. So looking ahead, I think Shawbrook described you as sort of an industry leader with the ability to scale further.
Yeah.
You know, I guess beyond M&A, which we've touched on.
Yeah.
How do you see the future? What are your plans?
Well, the finance guys' plans are crazy. No, they're not really. They're I think we're looking to get to 200 million in the next 4 or 5 years, which I think is achievable, given the scale of growth that we've had recently. It does seem to be as well that construction, it's had a tough 10 years roughly since financial crisis, 17 years ago. But it feels like it's been kicked about for quite a long time, and it just feels like there's some green shoots coming through. Again, the house building, even the house building, there's some legislation coming that's slowed all that down. But I hear in the new year that's all going to start picking up again, which is a big part of our business, and it's a big for the economy as a whole. So once the houses start selling, everyone gets a happier feeling, and so I think hopefully we could get to that. Hopefully.
So you've obviously achieved incredible success, you know, and if you look back since 2015 when you took the MD seat, so much has happened.
Yep.
How would you personally define success now?
Success on a personal level. Success on a personal level is I'm happy I managed to get to the top of the tree. But overall, I class success as all my staff being happy and all buying into the project that we're all working for the next 10 years or however long their working life is. That's what I count success as, is just a happy staff. The business is running well. And everyone's enjoying going to work to a certain degree. No one really enjoys it, but they're not getting up in the morning thinking, oh, I've got to do this. We want them to be enjoying it and getting the rewards that come if they're successful as well, which we try to give.
But like you say, if you've got members of staff recommending roles to family members themselves, I think that's a really good indication that actually what you have there is a really happy culture where people enjoy it.
I think so. And it's not like an industry like this where you need to be qualified to do it. As long as you get up for work, you work hard, you enjoy it, and you're a good learner, then the options are there for you. You don't need a qualification. If you've got a qualification, all the better, but you can start without anything in our industry. And we have so many good kids come through that school wasn't for them, but they've come through and they've actually shone, and they're happier with their working life because they're out of that school side environment which didn't fit for them. So there's an opportunity for anyone in our business.
Sounds like you create a great environment for people to flourish.
Hopefully, hopefully. That's our goal. Yeah. And we always try and promote from within as well. So if a manager retires, we would say 99 times out of 100, the number 2 is going to be the guy to step in, or the sales guy is going to be stepping in. We don't look to go and recruit elsewhere, because I don't think that's fair on the guys that have given you 5, 10, 15 years service. It's for them to have made that jump and learn, and then they get the responsibility. And it happens all the time. I can't remember the last time we replaced a manager. It must years and years ago. I don't think it's in my memory. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Darren, thank you so much for coming in and sharing the BEW story.
How do you feel?
Well, I hope it's been painless.
Is it off night now? Can I swear now?
That'll be
Thank you. Cheers for that.
We'll keep that in the edit.